everybody, to the Superhumanistic podcast where we talk about all things health and wellness. Thank you for joining us this week. And don't forget to follow us on Superhumanistic on everything, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. The email address is goals@superhumanistic.com to drop us a line. And we'll start off with a bit of recap of last week where we talked about chocolate. So for all those chocolate lovers out there, if you want to hear about the benefits of dark chocolate, the type of chocolate you should be eating, all the different health benefits you get, as well as the amount you should be eating per day to not overdo it, go back and listen to last week's episode. This week, we are going to be talking about another favorite, wine, and all the great health benefits that come with wine. I know we're fans of wine. We certainly don't overdo it at all, but we enjoy a glass or two here and there with dinner on the weekends, mostly. So we'll go ahead and start talking about the benefits.
So we actually had touched on this topic. So go back and listen to our older episodes. We talked about this in the Blue Zones section of episodes. Wine is something that all of the centenarians drink, kind of like on a daily basis, actually. They do it when they're socializing. They'll have a glass of wine. And when we say glass of wine, we're not meaning not like a glass full, but a typical wine glass, a few ounces of wine, not overindulging in it either. But that is something that the centenarians found helped with longevity in life. So wine benefits, and we're talking here mainly about red wine. That's where you're going to find most of those antioxidants. But there have been some studies done that have found that just alcohol in general has the antioxidants and can help with these benefits as well, but in particular, a dark red wine is going to be your best and healthiest option that you'll find the most antioxidants in. Again, with everything, we're doing it in moderation. So red wine, wine in general, you'll get a healthier heart with it. So it helps to reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease and heart attacks because wine or liquor in general thins your blood. It's a natural blood thinner. So you're going to have less clotting of your blood. Your blood's able to circulate throughout your body easier. And then your heart is actually healthier because it's not pumping as hard to try to get your blood to go throughout your body. So it does dilate your arteries and increases that blood flow, reducing those risks of clots and heart attacks and cardiovascular diseases. Wine also boosts your levels of HDL, which is your good cholesterol, and it reduces your levels of the LDL. I always mix those ones up, even though I shouldn't. But HDL, the good cholesterol, it boosts those, as well as then preventing your LDL, the bad cholesterol, from kind of taking over. It shields your body against cancer. In no way is this like a resolution to cancers, but it does have some antioxidants that help slow that growth of cancer cells. There have been many studies done that have found that wine, the phenolic compounds that are found in wine, does slow or suppress the cancer cells from growing or continuing to grow. And that's in breast cancer. The studies that were done show that breast cancer cells actually slow down their growth, as well as prostate cancer. It suppressed the growth of those prostate cancer cells as well. And then an antioxidant that's found in wine called the resveratrol.
Resveratrol.
There we go. Resveratrol.
Words are hard to say.
Yes. Stops that growth of liver cancer. So I know kind of like a twofold thing here, because I've always thought like liquor is really bad for your liver. And yes, it is, right? Liquor can increase that risk of liver diseases if you're drinking too much of it. So there's that really big caution out here, is that although we're saying wine is good for you, and it can be good for you, like everything else we've talked about on our episodes, in moderation, right? We're not overindulging in our drinking. We're not trying to say like, oh yeah, go out, party, it's gonna be great for you. Actually, no, it's the opposite. Having too much of it is going to be really bad for you, and then you don't see any of these benefits by overindulging. Same with previous episodes about like chocolate. Last week we talked about chocolate. Again, overindulging in something that's good, tastes good, is actually really bad for you too. So with this, just know in moderation, these benefits can come. It might take a little bit longer to see the benefits, but that's okay, right? We're saying moderation, slow and steady, always wins the race. Turtle game. Wine also helps with your bones. So various studies have been done that show that as we age, of course, we know our bone density decreases, but those who drink a glass, so women one glass of wine per day, men 2 glasses per day. Like we said earlier, we typically try not to drink any wine throughout the week. Not really try not, we don't drink wine throughout our week. But on the weekends, we will have that 1 glass or 2 glasses for him. Sometimes, mostly 1 glass for both of us.
Yeah, mostly 1.
But this study did find that those participants that were drinking that glass of wine per day had a greater bone mineral density. So they actually didn't have like the osteoporosis as they started to age. Their hips were great. They didn't need hip replacements because they were drinking just 1 glass of wine that had all of those antioxidants to help to increase your bone density. And it helps with sharper minds. I mentioned earlier about the blood increase. So same as what chocolate, those antioxidants, the blood circulation is increased. So then the blood is able to get to your brain faster as well. And that helps with your overall brain health. So stronger bones, sharper minds. That big caution out there though, again, we're not talking about overindulging in drinking any sort of liquor, specifically wine in this case. Excessive drinking actually is the opposite for you. It can be very dangerous and leads to different diseases like liver disease, and can increase those chances of cancer when you're overindulging. So we're only talking about moderate drinking here. We want only 1 glass per day, if even per day, 1 glass on the weekend, 2 glasses on the weekend. So very, very moderate drinking here of the wine in order to see those benefits that can be found in liquors.
Yeah. Is that all the benefits?
That's all the benefits I found.
A lot of awesome benefits there. Protects the blood vessels, lining of those. That way your heart remains healthy. Combats heart disease, as my wife mentioned. Longevity, all those antioxidants that are in there help promote or defeat those age-related diseases that you get, and just really promote a longer life in general. You mentioned the cognitive function, so that's great as well. And also blood sugar regulation. So moderate wine can help regulate blood sugar levels, which is beneficial for people with the type 2 diabetes. So I know you mentioned red wine.
Yes.
White wine is good as well, just has less antioxidants, so you're going to get lesser benefits of everything that you mentioned here. So definitely try to focus on the red wine, but as I mentioned, white wine does also have some benefits. So to kind of get into that a little bit deeper, you have your Pinot Noir, which is high in the resveratrol, hopefully we're saying that right, and typically lower in sugar and calories. So that's what you're going to get out of the Pinot there. The Merlot, which we like as well, is another red wine rich in antioxidants and also has some heart healthy benefits. So you're going to get that from your Pinots, Cabernet Sauvignon, the Cab, one of our favorites as well, I think. I think we like Cabs mostly just because it has kind of that more robust explosion of flavors into your mouth from that type of wine. So Cabs are great if you're looking for that flavor, but what you're going to get from Cab is it contains the flavonoids. Yeah. So flavonoids are very important for the cardiovascular health. Yeah. So a great benefit from there. Rosé is a decent option. Again, a lighter option that still contains some beneficial compounds of the red wine, but reduces all those great health benefits that you get from a more dark red wine that's drier. And a Prosecco, a lower calorie sparkling wine, is also an option. If you really just can't get behind those red wines, I know it's a bit of a graduation process, bit of an acquired taste. So yeah. I know I typically started out with those kind of sweeter wines when I first started, white wine, sweeter wine, and then kind of worked my way up to a drier wine. So that's one way to do it. I know I kind of got you hooked on the drier red wines. Yeah. Prior to meeting me, I don't think you were really into those.
I was a Moscato girl, which we did not mention at all. So
no health benefits really. Some fun facts about red wine. It's an ancient beverage. The earliest evidence of wine dates back to around 6000 BC. So that is a very long time ago. Quite a few wine varieties. There are over 10,000 different varieties of wine out there. So if you ever walk into a Binny's or a liquor store where they have an endless amount of wine, there's quite the variety. Also, the oldest bottle of wine dates back to 325 AD. So I know there's wine found in the Bible and those type of things. Absolutely. So wine has been around for a long time. And really, there's always that great debate of cork versus screw cap. So your traditionalists are going to prefer the corks over screw caps, but I think the younger folks are getting into the screw caps. One great thing about a screw cap, it just seals the wine better. Mm-hmm. So, and then also too with the corks, they can, unless you keep the bottle of wine on its side, the cork can kind of dry out, and then what happens is some air gets into the bottle, which can kind of spoil it a little bit. So actually some good benefits to using the cap there. So that is all the information I had for everybody on wine. Do we have a challenge for everybody out there?
Adding a glass of wine, or eliminating in this case if you're overindulging at this point. But maybe trying one of those that my husband listed. I know although I do drink red wine right now, kind of want to try that Prosecco. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
yes. Yes. I like the bubbly taste in wine, so I'm going to try that wine. But yeah, try one of those wines that we listed. Again, remember not to overindulge. Have just one glass with a dinner or lunch if you're an earlier drinker. But keep it limited to that one glass or two if you're a man.
All right. Don't forget to follow us on Superhumanistic on everything: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. The email address is goals@superhumanistic.com if you want to drop us a line. We greatly appreciate you joining us. And as always, get out there and start implementing all these health benefits slowly into your life so that you can be more superhumanistic. We'll see you next week.
Bye.